One, two, three. Bum, 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 bum. Do, 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 do. Bum, ba-da-da-da. Bum, bum. Hey, hi, hey, hi, hey, hi, everybody. Social media family and any visitors to that being in my own personal channel and or chat room. I'm sorry if I may have disappointed anybody for this particular present social media broadcast or video before we even began with, where some compared to others who could say and tend to differ, may be like saying, you do appear rather, well, you do, correct me if I'm wrong, appear or seem to be rather quite lackluster in getting out this one particular present social media broadcast or video or whatever one wants to make of it. Well, that's just a difference of opinion, whereas others could say, well, I would like to think that my assumption is that you do appear or seem to be more relaxed, hopefully, in other words, and, lazy about airing this here particular one. Well, hopefully that is the case or situation, be it the latter than of the former mentioned. Disregard any interruptions you may hear in the background. No, I'm not making reference to that of a television or radio broadcast. Otherwise, to complement practically or possibly my own social media broadcast or video, but I'm making reference to how we are living in a day and age of increased idiots and sickos, like one of the likes of public nuisance or problem neighbors, some as such who would be commonly called and are known as proverbial neighbors from hell. So that's what you're hearing. The noises, otherwise a slamming of doors and etc., or diversion noise is being made to cover up the sounds of how certain neighbors be attempting to bother with other neighbors, places of residences, doors, all the while knowing that that is a hate crime punishable by law. Punishable by law, I say, and I'll say for the record. And within a courtroom setting, before a judge or a prosecutor, if a person of a character that likes one's kind is ever caught by the police red-handed and arrested, for that being the same in the said in question, the former previous prior mentioned, well, whatever I said, they are speaking correct, proper standard English grammar of the American dialect of some of such qualities and quantities or not. You know. Yeah. I mean, and to compliment that of old saying, how certain persons do, or those being the likes among themselves, the characters in question, or so I say, and stay for the record and to think of it with that in my mind's intention to try to backtrack here with no purpose of being, or else I could go into following to continue from where and when that my person at last left off, so that I can or could possibly finish up as in complete a former freeze prior line thought the same word. And to possibly not just practically but possibly to compliment the old saying, or this one old saying as it goes, so I paraphrase, not quote exactly, that misery loves company. Even before I would have have finished that last once again. One of the much more serious idiots and sickos had started at it again. You know, or they thought just as long as one remembers to stay out of that, stay on the opposite side of somebody else's place of residence door, you know, and don't attempt to commit a civil or human rights violation offense of a hate crime by attempting to come off like some sort of such a type of intruder or home invader, with the nonsense of socially unacceptable and criminally illegal or unlawful home invasion or criminal trespassing, because I do believe in resorting to self-defense, as well as dialing the emergency 911 telephone number for the police or cops. I mean to have my video broadcast of social media to be continually interrupted by the likes of an airhead who is attempting to get my goat, and could possibly be one of the reasons on purpose for he himself having acted out or got to misbehaving like that once again for the umpteenth time, Okay. And whereas the crazy weather temps at times is enough to deal with, then they have to be bothered with the foolishness and nonsense of crazy persons or crackpots, and likewise, as well, all the same idiots or morons, ignoramus, imbecile idiots. Yeah. Other than that, I guess I feel okay. You all, thank you for asking. Not that I mean to sound so much like as the present moment time, that of this one black brother within that film or movie flick of Hollywood, California, motion picture production. I think it was called either, Next Friday or Friday after next. Remember, that one black brother playing the part of what do you call American Gigolo or Mac Daddy wannabe pimp, you know, player from the Himalayas, for that one scene of that film, movie, flick, or Hollywood, California motion picture production. Before he would, rather, let me phrase it, my bad correction, before he could practically, if not possibly, come so close to almost getting bushwhacked by another black brother who is so tall, so much taller, and so heavy, or so much heavier than him, about 2 or 3, let's say it's 2 or 3, I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about the interruption of a neighbor from hell, crackpot, idiot. But what I meant to say, who is like, there's this other black brother in the movie play, who is like at least a couple, few, or 2 or 3 times heavier than this other black brother. Remember one scene where it's the bigger black brother, the taller and bigger black brother rips a telephone directory of the yellow pages off of his torso. Like, what's up with that? We got a telephone directory up under there, So he rips it off his torso and rips it in half. And he tells the other brothers, so I paraphrase it, not exactly. Yeah, he tells the other black brother, something along this line of thought. So I paraphrase, not quote exactly. Something about don't fight it. because this is happening, whether you want it or not. And then where the other black brother said, man, I ain't even in the yellow pages. What's wrong with you, man? And he said, back up, big boy. Homie, don't play that. Said, have you done gone out your freaking mind or something? And then where the other black brothers grabbing at him after he already like clocked him a little, boom, knocked him flat out cold. He wakes up on after the much taller and bigger brother splashed some water in his face. And what is he saying? He likes his fishes screaming. And the other black brother said, no, don't do that, don't do that. This ain't happening. No, you can't do this to me. I'm a player. Not attempting to get bushwhacked by somebody coming off like the rival counterpart to the giant slayer. Back up, Mr. Green Giant or Mr. Great Bait King Kong. I don't know where you think you're at, but you're no longer in the can. You're no longer in jail. You don't have to go for male peanut butter. I mean, you could get recovery for this. You can get rehabilitated. Then he noticed there's a pair of pliers that's hooked up to a toilet bowl up underneath, and he grabs that and he pulls out, and then clamps it down on the other brother's private parts of his crotch area. And need I say more? How I got on it, I don't know. Something like this, I guess. One crackpot, crank maybe. Yeah, okay. As I was saying, more was less. If he's caught to commit an act of criminal trespass, then he's going to the can or crazy house. And I will make a citizen's arrest, or at least leave my business card, regardless of whatever the outcome could possibly come or be, where she knows that I'm a force to be reckoned with, And I ain't no wuss or wimp. Not that I'm in it go on and on about some neighbor from hell, faggoty or closet faggot cocksucker of a male character that wants to ruin a social media broadcast of video, man. Like he wants to, like each and every time I try to think to broadcast, like I have to think about him all the time. Like as if that hasn't be on my mind's intentions to ruin what could possibly become or be a otherwise good broadcast of a video or social media content, or being of a social media broadcast, and to, get the social media broadcast or video, however said, going in a totally different direction than what I would have originally had thought of it with my intentions to try to think to put forth the efforts to make one. So sorry about that. That was him that you was hearing. That him or somebody similar to him or somebody other like his kind. There's a lot of nutcases in this building. Moonlight ass, midnight cowboys and spooks that sit by the door, and I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't doubt if they were to attempt to come off like some source of such types of intruders or home invaders at that, worse yet. When it would be bad enough if the likes of them were to be like stealing other neighbors, tenants, or residents' mail or parcel packages, be it a delivery coming from the U.S. Postal Service or from the United Parcel Service. Yeah, other than that, I guess I feel okay, trying to pick up the pieces of my life after this one neighbor from hell, like other like this kind that I had to be borrowed with elsewhere at an old building where I was you know, formerly or previously at as a tenant or resident paying annual monthly rent, etc., on the relocate as a move here and have to be borrowed with the same likes of this kind of a person of interest and or character, regardless of whether or not this one could possibly be on some kind of America's Most Wanted list, you know, a fugitive from the law, or whatever. But then it takes all kinds to make a world. You know, a whole lot more crazies in this world, and as well idiots than ever before. For this here global pandemic as we have it with the corona or COVID-19 virus, And all I really want to do for today was come back to my pad and chill before the likes of his kind, he himself and whoever else of the likes of his kind had got to starting up once again. You know? And to compliment the old saying that misery loves company. Ain't it the truth? And whereas I had originally wanted as well, I wanted to do this here video or to get to composing and airing it of a social media broadcast to go online and post it. But likewise, well, I was saying I wanted to check out as in, you know, or in addition to maybe watch a little TV and listen to, the radio broadcast. Otherwise, I wanted to, you know, that is sign in to certain ones, some of such other social media accounts of mine for porn website addresses. No, not so much as well, hopefully not to relish in it or to make like that of a male voyager geeking and tweaking or like say indulging in some of such with pleasure. But if anything, I believe it or not, you can take for you what you want. I wanted to go about the let's say business in hand or something like that. Being a witch is to try to think to delete some more of the much more graphic stuff. My hands pretty clean up to be digging then putting them out well digging for gold and popping it like popcorn. They get back to some such other, but then that was before this one neighbor started up again. Misery loves company. So much for him. Talking about him. But then moving right along and speaking upon something else. Yeah, more or less. If at some given moment in time there were past, you know, social media broadcasts of videos of mine of my own making, many of which could have possibly offended anybody. I'm sorry for that. I apologize. And if it were to really be quite out of character, whereas I have yet to go over some such past social media broadcasts of video mines anyway, so that I mean, believe it or not, I did at some given moment in time or another, you know, well maybe not most recently, but it wasn't that long ago either, but I had gone about with the necessary business in hand or had done just that or did, being a which is to delete certain much more graphic social media broadcasts of videos being of a pornographic nature. Yeah, I did do that. So I get to get back with that program. As I'm trying to get right with God, I'm saying I'm trying to get right with God, regardless of how I still have yet to find a church home and can't begin to say or remember when was the last time I had attended a literal actual religious church service and sabbatical Sunday school class only for this one neighbor to be acting out, misbehaving once again for the umpteenth time, to attempt to make me that much more feel off my equilibrium. And as he himself will continue to attempt to not only attempt to drive me completely bonkers, but attempt to drive me out of house and home. You know, and craziness is to do the same thing and expect different results. You know, and as he himself continues to violate his apartment remedies and disrespect the rights and privileges of a fellow neighbor or fellow neighbors, as the Lexus can does. You know, so much for that conversation. I guess I do feel okay. All right. It's not blessed that much more. You know, well, hopefully I feel much better than what I felt like last. You know, like last I was on here. You know, you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Okay, that is as in online. You know, composing a social media broadcast or video, regardless of whatever I could have been going through or whatever I could be like going through now. I don't miss outside. You might know what the Jack and Jill establishment is supposed to be. Is it some kind of, I don't know, business organization of some kind? What sort of type of so far that was like that. Anyway, though, you all, you know, I'm going to be closing out in good time. You know, I'm trying to wrap things up, then just try to relax, and not to mention, you know, seriously think about scheduling for myself an appointment with a shrink after this one neighbor from hell, crackpot, and our idiot has pretty much so. Well, that's not the happen. Has terrorized and traumatized me for the longest now, and that's something that he himself could possibly need to do that much more than me with his crazy as well as stupid self. You know, the person would really have to be off his rocker, or depend on whichever one's gender he or she to want to continue to attempt to terrorize and traumatize a fellow neighbor of another tenant or resident. That just that's just sheer stupidity and or sickness. Not to mention rudeness. I mean, it's ignorant, insane, and impolite. You know? And life is too short to permit somebody else to take you hostage or make you captive to one's own rather twisted, warped, wicked mindset. You know, life is like a vapor. That's what the good book says. You know, yeah. And it is appointed unto men to die, but after this, the judgment. And there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the ways thereof are the ways of death. And fools walk in where angels fear to tread. And as the fool has said in his heart that there is no God, but may you be in heaven a half an hour before the devil knows you're dead. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but shall have everlasting life. You know? And people in their hell in ice water. It would be bad enough to become subject to experiencing any kind of damn hell in this world than to make that transition for the next and pass on over to the other existence opposite this one, then find out that you're in a real damn hell elsewhere. You know, it's many times worse. Then most recently, I've been having, you know, quite a bit of nightmares, you know. and possibly caused by this one neighbor from hell. Interrupt my sleeping patterns. Whereas when I finally do go to sleep, I just feel so, when I wake up after, I feel quite drained. I was feeling kind of tired today, you know, especially in due regard to whatever symptoms of my own medically diagnosed physical ailments than to have this one neighbor from hell misbehave or anyone like this kind to attempt to complicate matters or to compound the problem of what I could possibly already have become subject to experiencing. Yeah. You got some real crazy persons in this world. I mean, some real crazies or crackpots and idiots upon the increase. I didn't mean to go on about some of such, but I did say I feel pretty good, I guess, or hopefully much better than I felt like last. Just chilling, maybe some comic books, so they have something like, you know, at the same time, try to steer clear of the bottle and the pipe, you know, unless I want some kind sort of type of a neighbor from hell to attempt to take advantage of a drunken stupor or bummed out high, as stupid does and stupid feels, and as he himself continues to assume that he has a legit personal vendetta or grudge match with me because he's crazy. He's crazy. He's stupid as well as sick, or insane as well as ignorant. It is what it is. Certain people, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Attempting to sweat, steal other people or persons. I don't need any of that in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's a madhouse, it's a mad world. You know. Then I guess get some more comic books. Would you believe this here costs like practically 1/4 of a Benjamin? Um, $15. You would take tax. Better recognize and or realize life is too short, you know. You feeding into somebody else's whatever, you know. Live and let live. And then you have the undesirables or the social rejects who find it so hard to understand a simple concept like that. And broad is the way that leads to destruction, and narrow is the way that leads to life, and few there be that find it. And so, therefore, on the last note of interest, I'm going to conclude these matters by just simply saying, so I paraphrase and not quote exactly. And as I would usually do for any video, well, majority or most, I think I like my buttons. But anyway, I'm just going to say, if you haven't gotten Christ as your own personal Lord and Savior, I will hope that you would think to do so now while the blood is still one woman in vain. But recognizing and realizing what he himself had done or did upon the cross of Calvary on Hither Golgotha, suffering at the hands of some sort of Roman soldier up on the orders of their superiors, religious and otherwise, Pharisees, Sadducees, Roman centurions, etc., proletariat, Roman Empire, and then some. So that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. You know, as he himself had fulfilled biblical prophecy to provide that free gift of eternal life and salvation to make any one of us a to give us a chance to become citizens of the kingdom of heaven, where we don't have to worry about burning up in the lake of fire down hell with the rest of the unsaved, unbelievers, and unbelievers to be tortured and terrorized by the devil and demons forever. Because we will be across that great divide that separates heaven from hell. The company of like-minded believers in God as in Christian, aka Protestant, and present of God and his angels otherwise, once we were to make the transition for the afterlife. But first, you got to accept Christ as your personal Lord and say why he's still here. Otherwise, you have no blessings coming your way, none whatsoever. You all take care and be safe. Peace.